Welcome back to episode 3, 4?
3.
Wow, look at us. 3 episodes deep, and the people still want us, I think.
They've been asking.
They've been asking. It's been a few weeks hiatus for us. We've had some big things happen. Obviously, as everyone can tell, my hair. It's been a few weeks. Bangs, blonde. I needed an awakening. I needed a few weeks away because I feel like the last episode, I got a little bit of heat. So I needed to take some time. We'll get into it. Anyway, you know what it is. Make Believe Pundits. It's my podcast where I make myself look like a fool, but it's how I'm going to get my boyfriend to propose to me. Right? Right? No, right? All right, so what are we talking about today?
Oh, well, right now, as we're recording this, Liverpool have just scored in the Carabao Cup final against Chelsea in the 28th minute of overtime.
Who scored?
It looks like Virgil van Dijk has just scored.
Oh, my God.
After having a goal disallowed earlier in the game.
Disallow another, let's be honest. Where's the VAR?
Yeah, I don't know.
Where's the VAR?
It's just unbelievable how Liverpool have Joel Matip, Bajcetic, Doak, Alexander-Arnold, Szoboszlai, Thiago, Reece Williams, Darwin Núñez, Alisson, Salah, Jota, Curtis Jones, and Chelsea still could not beat them. This is unbelievable. It looks like it was a corner that Virgil just went into the 6 unmarked. Free header.
Yeah, but let's
corner.
fine. Let's speak. Who's the tallest person on the Chelsea team?
Oh, they got some big boys
Who?
in the back.
Like
Diassi.
Because Virgil's tall, so I could see him getting that's fair, a goal off a set piece, a corner. He should. He should. I think that's where a lot of his goals probably come from anyway, if we look back on it.
This man Diassi, 6'3". Thiago Silva, 6 foot.
Really?
Badashil, 6'4".
Oh.
They've got some tall guys in the back, so I mean that's inexcusable to also let him just run into the box unmarked and just get a. It's Virgil van Dijk. You know what he's capable of. All right, but anyways.
Anyway, what did I say about Chelsea all along? Let's go back to last episode. Let's unpack some stuff, I think, right? Because I think it also leads into a recap of what the last few weeks have looked like. And the key word is drama. Drama. It's what I live for. It's why I watch the game. Just so much drama. I was living life the last few weeks. I have been living life the last few weeks. Arsenal are up, unbeaten. How many goals do we have? How many conceded do we have? It's amazing.
Well, I mean, if you want the stats for that, ever since the Dubai trip.
In the new, right? It was since the new year, essentially.
Yeah, since the start of the new year, 2024. These are the games Arsenal played in the Prem. Crystal Palace, 5-0. Nottingham Forest, 2-1. Liverpool, big win, 3-1 at home.
No, don't talk about it. We're not allowed to celebrate.
Yeah,
we're not allowed to celebrate much. Moving on.
Yeah. Let's just get down the tunnel with that one. 6-0 against West Ham.
Oh, yeah.
5-0 Burnley. And then we got those cheats up in Newcastle, 4-1.
Cheats?
Yeah, I mean, the first game that we played at Newcastle, Arsenal played.
Look at that short-term memory. Relax. It was like
Bruno Guimaraes with his elbows on Jorginho that went unnoticed, uncarded. But yeah, 25 goals scored and only 3 goals conceded.
Insane.
In 2024 in the Premier League. That is something that a lot of people aren't even discussing.
Listen, this is what I'll say. I think the last episode, I got some heat. I am an Arsenal fan, and I said, I don't know if I see them winning the league. But can I change? what I said? Yes, I can because
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
allowed.
your opinion can change.
But I think it's because I think key things for me, uh, the new year, like the break needed to happen. They needed to go somewhere warm. They needed to like recoup. But I also think one thing that's been huge, and you know me, like you could vouch for me. I did not love Kai Havertz in the middle at all, and him at the top as like our number 9 right now. I'm very happy with, and I think the team is very happy with as well. He's not scoring all the goals. He's not like this crazy. He's not putting up these crazy goals, but he is making room for everyone, and I think it's what we absolutely needed. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I love it. Him at the top, we're winning the league. I've changed my mind.
So
Liverpool are going
did
down to
you
third.
have? Who did you have?
What did I say?
I
I
think you had
said
City, right?
I think
Winning
I
the league?
had Liverpool third, so I'm still there. I think you were absolutely on the money about the injuries because look what's happening right now. But I mean, they're gonna win the Carabao Cup right now.
That's
Who knows?
crazy. With kids.
So who knows?
Chelsea in the mud.
But I think between City and Arsenal, I think they're really top contenders, especially with look at City's stats right now after the new year. Kevin De Bruyne is back. Erling Haaland is back as well. Rodri's back, right? They have a fit team at this point, right?
Yeah, they should have all of their starting 11.
They should have, in my opinion, with the recent games they have, and we can look back at their stats as well. But personally, I think, and let me just pull some of their stuff up myself. The recent games they've played, they should be putting up more goals.
Oh, for sure.
They should be putting up way more goals. Listen, the City Chelsea game was probably the most dramatic game of my life. I'm not a Chelsea fan by any means, but Cole Palmer had my heart that day. And really good game for Chelsea. I think they showed a lot of grit, but City, it was a draw. And then since then, they've only had 1 or 2 goals per game.
Yeah.
I mean, I think for the teams that they've been playing, they should be putting up higher points there, right?
No, I totally agree. I mean,
So-
since the start of the new year, they played Newcastle, which they won barely. They barely won that
Barely.
game 3-2. I believe Newcastle were predominantly leading that game the entire time. And then I think they played Burnley, which they won 3-1.
I think that was our last big scoring game, right?
Right. I mean, 4-1 against Newcastle is pretty
Oh,
high
right,
scoring.
right. Sorry.
Yeah, we scored. We put 5 past Burnley. They put 3.
Yeah.
And Burnley scored
And
against
Burnley
them.
scored against them. That's what I'm saying. Like what I'm seeing from City right now, they're still like even with their starting 11, their fittest team, they're still beatable this season. And I think last season it was harder to say that for sure. So I think I needed to see what was going to happen in the new year to really be like, oh, who's going to win this? Arsenal City. I've changed my ways. If Arsenal don't win the league, I will be shocked. The game yesterday that they played, who did we play again? Short-term memory.
Who did we play yesterday?
Yeah.
Newcastle.
Sorry, Newcastle. I didn't think, listen, Newcastle has their days. I think yesterday was probably one of their poorer days, to be totally honest. But I do think that the way Arsenal played, if they play anyone moving forward, that's a winning team. The way they played yesterday was so superb. That's how you want to watch a game all the time.
I think I saw the stat yesterday. The first half, we didn't even the team didn't even let
No,
Newcastle a shot on target
correct.
in the
Yeah.
first half. First 45
I think there
minutes.
was one run with, how do you say? He's my great value, Julian Alvarez. What's his name?
Isak?
Almiron?
Oh, Almiron?
They kind of look alike to me. Kind of do. But I think he had one attempt, one run in the first half, and it was easy gobbled up. So I loved yesterday's game. I thought it was really great. Whatever anyone says, we put too many goals up. Whatever. There's always such criticism against Arsenal, whatever we do. And I don't know why. Why aren't we liked?
Oh, well, it goes back to Arsene Wenger
What's
coming
wrong?
in
Who
and
hates
disrupting the
him?
league and being 2 years into the Premier League and winning a title. I mean, that was pretty significant, especially him and Sir Alex Ferguson, all the games they had, the beef they had with one another. I wouldn't say beef, but rivalry.
Drama.
Is a better word.
Just drama.
Yeah, so it just comes out to that, but that's a whole
Whatever.
other topic.
Yeah, I guess that's a whole other thing we can get into another day. The history. But no, very, very happy. I think I've changed my ways. I think it was pretty bleak in December, and that's why I said what I said. I don't think I regret it, but I do think now I have much more strength behind me saying Arsenal are going to win the league. And I think you would agree because I know Arsenal have been your number one till day end. But I think now you're way more confident in saying Arsenal can win this league.
I was confident before too because
Well, you just
I
thought it was
was
like a rebuilding period at that point?
no, because I was seeing a lot of good things from the start of the season, like Arsenal beating Man City. That
True.
was unexpected. Nobody expected Arsenal beat Man City.
We beat Liverpool twice, too.
Liverpool was beaten once, and I think we drew.
Oh, did we draw?
I think the first game was a draw at Liverpool.
Double check
I
that.
think it was 2-2.
Really? Maybe you're right. It's so much time, so much to think about. Can't remember it all.
Yeah, it was 1-1 at
Oh,
at
1-1.
Liverpool.
Oh, right. I remember.
Arsenal were leading from the 4th minute,
Right.
and then I think in the 30th minute they leveled it with Salah.
That's right.
But all I saw was positive build up. I saw obviously the Arsenal weren't playing the same style as last season. They weren't playing as high intensity and super fast pace and ultra attacking and like this beautiful football that everyone was used to seeing from last season.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, if you look at the underlying build up play, they started pacing the game out so that they last more than 90 minutes. There were goals that were scored in extra time that would win the game. The build-up
true.
play from the back was a lot slower, putting a little bit more emphasis on endurance, on stamina, and wearing teams out mentally and physically so that at the end of the game we come in and we attack. But I think from that Newcastle game yesterday, I mean, Newcastle just looked like amateurs yesterday.
It was bad.
It was so
Honestly,
bad in the
I
first
usually
half.
I don't mind watching. To be honest, I know that game yesterday. That poor goalie,
Curious.
Karius can't catch a break. I feel actually god awful for him. I really
What
feel
a
bad for
play on
him.
words.
Why?
Catch a break.
Catch. He can't catch. But I don't think it was all him. And if anyone says it was the goalie's fault yesterday,
No, Newcastle was really
they were
poor
just really
yesterday.
poor. And I feel bad for him that he was on this grand level again. I'm like, I'm going to redeem myself. And this is how his team shows up. That sucks.
But that puts in perspective how good Arsenal were yesterday. Because
Oh, phenomenal. Yeah, that's what I mean. But also you going back to that, like in the first half of the season, yeah, sure, but I don't think they're playing the same game that they were playing in the first half either. Yesterday was so beautiful to watch. They were running since minute 1. Like
Yeah,
they
I
didn't
mean,
stop running.
look at who were we missing from the first half of the season too. You know, there was also a lot of injuries that we had.
But we still don't have a lot of our people back just yet. They're not even
No,
on the
it's
bench
true.
just yet.
It's true, but I think there's a revival in the defense with Kivior in the left back position.
I was going to say I think there's a revival in the midfield with Jorginho, and I think Odegaard kind of woke up this second leg of the season as well.
Oh yeah, no doubt. But I think it all starts from the back with Arsenal.
Kivior really is
their plays
growing
from
up.
the back.
Yeah, I agree.
Arteta's playing 4 center backs in defense. Not many teams are capable of transforming a Ben White into a right back and making him overlap and run back and forth up and down the pitch like he's doing. And he's doing an excellent job in defense.
You said it.
Zinchenko, as good as he is on inverting into the midfield, I think that we've been found out. Arsenal has been found out by other teams.
And I just don't find Zinchenko. I think he's really good. I don't know if he's fast enough for these because he gets caught. And there's been a few times where he's gotten caught because he's gotten stuck in the midfield and hasn't made his way back to be in his position. So I feel like everyone loves to shit on Ben White. I don't know why, but he's Mr. Consistent. He's always been consistent. This whole season he's been consistent. And now he's really coming into form because we have the whole back line also doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So That's my little 2 cents on that.
No,
Have to
it's
bring him
just
up
I think we have the best. Arsenal have the best defense in the league.
for
There's
sure.
no question about that.
And I feel like no one talks about it enough, which is
No,
fine.
because
That's totally
there's
fine.
no star players in Arsenal in the back,
That's crazy to think.
according to the media, right?
That's crazy to think.
But we have rising stars. We have Saliba. We have
I think they're going to
Ben
be
White.
legendary.
We have Gabriel Magalhaes. That man alone is incredible.
Let's talk about his smile, though. That's what really gets you. You're like, and then, Willie Saliba, I just feel like he's a really cool guy. I think the back line has a lot of personality. I could do a whole episode on that if you wanted to.
They're all young, too.
They're young. I think they have a lot of fire. I think they have a lot of potential. I think they're all going to be legends in their own. The only thing I will say, again, about Ben White, I think it's really weird that he's not in the England squad. But
I don't think it's weird. I think it's one of those things where he probably just didn't get along with some of the players there, and he's got a personality too,
No, but you could definitely tell he's like kind of like a drama.
Mischievous.
He's kind of a drama queen.
No, I wouldn't say drama king. I think he's mischievous.
You think mischievous? I think he looks like high maintenance.
No, if you look at how some of the dark arts he does off the ball, where he pulls players' shorts down or pushes them or kicks them a little bit while they're on the ground.
He could be like a Slytherin.
He's like a little mischievous guy, which I love. I mean, that takes.
But he's quiet about it. He's like very quiet about it.
That's the point.
Yeah.
That's why he's mischievous.
Yeah.
It goes unseen, but it definitely plays on the psychological aspect of the game when you have a winger who's charging at him and he's just picking him all game, not letting him have anything.
Yeah, true.
Mental game is there. It's like Pepe and Ramos back 10 years ago. Those guys were just the kings of dark arts.
Pepe. I don't know what it was. Never liked him.
I love watching him play.
I would just be like, oh my God, I hate watching. I can't. I don't know what it is. But maybe it's the mischievous about him.
Yeah, the dark arts, the mischievousness. It's all like part of the psychological game, which I like. I like that. I like that about a defender. I like not only the physical, but also the psychological, the mental game. Get into the head of your opponent, make him mess up,
And then, again, I think Jorginho the last few games has really proven himself. Because for me, when he first came on, I was really excited, but it seemed like he wasn't. I don't know. Maybe the team felt he wasn't ready enough or whatever. But at this point, he's really woken up, and I think he's really been a nice, sturdy foundation with maturity for the team.
That's a great word, foundation. Who could have used that today? Chelsea.
But who do they have? Who do they have to be their foundation? Sterling, I guess.
Well, no. In midfield, when you're talking about center midfield, they have Enzo and then Caicedo.
Oh.
They spent over 200 million replacing Jorginho, and they haven't replaced him properly. Arsenal bought him for 12. 12 million that man cost, and he's worth his weight.
Yeah, he's doing it. And then Odegaard, again, like I said, I can't speak highly enough about him this leg. The first half, I was just like, he was really playing his, last season, he did great with these one-shot strikes. He was trying it again in the first half of the season, and I just feel it wasn't working. He's realized that now, and he's become like a true leader, true midfielder for me.
He's always been a midfielder, but the only thing that caught him up in the first half of this season was that there wasn't anyone with defensive capabilities like Thomas Partey behind him who would be able to pick up his slack if there was, because it's rare that you see Odegaard dropping the ball. I mean, he's like an Energizer bunny. He's everywhere on the field.
We were talking about this yesterday. I think that we could say that Martinelli's probably the fastest on the field, but I think endurance-wise, Odegaard has gotten him beat. Endurance, the agility of that man is absolutely wild. He's involved in every play. But then I just realized we completely forgot in the midfield, Declan Rice. I mean, I guess maybe we don't even need to talk about him because he just shows how valuable he is.
Yeah, and I think the first half of the season, there's a lot of factors. Thomas Partey was a key staple in that team.
Yeah.
He's a key staple in midfield, and he brings a presence of calm that you don't see with other players in this team outside of Jorginho.
My mind, Thomas Partey is like Mr. Reliable. Whenever he has the ball, there's no mistake made.
Yeah, he that goes into his experience, you know.
Yeah.
That's experience, that's age,
How
that's
old is he? He's not that old.
he's like 30, 31, 32.
Oh shit. He looks great. I thought he was like 27.
No, he's getting up there, but he's still not old.
He
He's
doesn't
still
he doesn't play. I mean, a lot of the players kind of don't act like play like they're old,
no.
but yeah, he definitely doesn't play his age.
But yeah, that first half of the season for Arsenal was a little difficult because not many people picked up on how Odegaard had to track back more.
Hmm.
How he had to pick up the pace
And I
for the
don't
lack
think
of
Kai
party.
Havertz is, even though he's played as a defender, I don't really, for Arsenal at least, I don't think he's,
Yeah,
it doesn't fit for him.
they had to shift. They had to
Yeah,
bring Rice into that party role. They had to bring Havertz into the Rice role, and then they had to have Odegaard
kind of play an
play
all role.
play in his position with two different players
Yeah.
behind him. Like think about that. He was used to having Xhaka and Party all last season, and now
Oh,
he has
yeah.
Havertz and Rice.
That's a big shift. You're right.
And
That's a
then
huge shift. Completely forgot about the loss.
and then now I think the relationship between Jorginho and Rice is a little bit better because Rice picks up the defensive slack for Jorginho,
Hmm.
allowing Jorginho to be that regista, that midfielder who holds the ball, sees the threaded pass, and picks it apart like we saw with Martinelli yesterday, that over the top ball just
Oh, yeah.
perfectly into the box. Like that man, his passing ability, his vision is unbelievable. And I still can't believe Arsenal got away with getting him for 12 million
I know.
last January.
That was big.
But anyway, so you
I'm
want to
not done.
revisit your top three then, right?
Yeah, but I'm not done. I still want to talk about Arsenal. I have a lot of fun.
No, I know. I'm saying you want to revisit your
Oh,
top
yeah.
three because of Arsenal, right?
Yeah, because of Arsenal, I need to revisit the top three.
So because they scored 25 goals in the last 6 games?
Yeah, and every single game I've been super impressed. There hasn't been a game this leg of the season where I'm like, yeah, we just scraped by. Honestly, probably the only game was like the Not Forest game. But all of the games, I've been super impressed by everyone. I love Kai Havertz at the top. I really do. I think he brings a level of, I don't want to I don't want to say stability, but stability where he's not looking always for the foul. And I feel like sometimes with Gabriel Jesus, he is kind of taking more of, I'll just go for the foul, than let me just take this full run. And I feel like we need someone who's like, just going to create a chance. So I think having Kai Havertz there has really, I really like it. I feel really good about it. So we'll see what the rest of the season brings. But with that being said, my top three have changed ever so slightly. And it's just because of the way I've seen Arsenal develop. And I've seen Man City kind of just stay. You know, there's nothing bad to say about them. I just thought they were going to come out of the gate way stronger. So I think still in my third would be Liverpool, just because injuries are really racking up there. And even though they're strong and they're holding sturdy, this half of the season so far, they haven't really played anyone aside from Arsenal, who they lost against, that have challenged them enough to really show that weakness, that loss. So we'll see what the rest of the season holds for them.
So Liverpool in the Premier League, they play Nottingham Forest away.
Mm-hmm.
And then March 10th, they play Man City at home. So what do you think is going to happen there March 10th? Because that's going to be a battle of the top, you know?
That's a huge game.
City or Liverpool go first.
My prediction for that game, I see City winning that game 1-0, or it's a draw if anyone's fit again from Liverpool. Agree? What are your thoughts on that? That's a huge game.
Yeah, it's huge. And over the last couple of years, that game has been probably the most electric game in the Premier League to watch, with both of those teams at full capacity. I mean, Salah at one end, and now you have Haaland and Kevin De Bruyne, and now Foden with his revival.
Yeah, Foden's been wild.
He's been on fire.
So happy for him.
And then you have the midfield. Well, you used to have the midfield battle with some great players, but now Liverpool have reinvigorated their midfield, and think they're all injured. The first starting 11 for them.
Except for McAllister. Who's
And Endo.
stable. He's like sturdy enough.
No, I mean, I think it's going to be a good game, and I'm hoping for a draw.
I'm hoping for a draw. I don't even know why I'm hoping for City to win, because I still think that we can beat City. Like, I wouldn't even be mad if we were trailing them a few points, because I think that we can beat them.
Yeah, especially in the form that Arsenal are in right now.
It's crazy.
I wouldn't put past it to be a high-scoring game against City. Both ways, right? I could see it being like a 3-2 or a 4-3 type of game. Yeah.
Wow, I see it being pretty tight. In my eyes, it's pretty tight. I could see a draw, like...
Kevin De Bruyne loves scoring against Arsenal. You know, that's...
the Arsenal game. I thought you were still talking about the Liverpool game.
No. I'm saying Liverpool and Man City could be like a really high-scoring game when they meet.
We'll see. That's going to be so exciting.
So who's your top three now?
Oh,
Liverpool 3.
Liverpool 3, City 2, Arsenal 1. I have full confidence saying that now. See, the last time we had visited this, you were saying that injury, and I don't really like to say or base it off of injury. I'm basing it off of what I'm seeing, and what I'm seeing now is Arsenal in their top form, and I think absolutely, without a doubt, we could beat City. We could win this league.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I was saying Liverpool and injuries in the same sentence is because there's
No, you weren't. Liverpool and injuries and Liverpool and status, like, I completely agree with what you were saying. It was more the City aspect of it, and why you were choosing them for a second was because, well, if De Bruyne is out again, if Rodri's out again, like, you were really banking on a potential injury, and I don't like that. I feel like I wasn't confident enough to say that was going to be the case. But now, even with City in top shape, I'm still very confident saying that Arsenal can beat them and can beat Liverpool. I mean, we did beat Liverpool. We're there. We just need to get points.
City play United in the next game.
I will be a United fan this week.
And speaking of United, they just lost horribly at home to Fulham. Let me give you this wild stat.
Okay.
Guess when the last time Fulham won at Old Trafford?
Oh, I think I heard this. It was like kind of wild.
21 years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I almost said 60 years.
You know, one of the funniest tweets I saw the other day was with the Fulham admin for social media tweeting. I think he said something like along the lines of, "Oh, I guess this is why they call it the Theater of Dreams." So, I mean, currently Man United are really, really in the mud. I mean, I don't know. Do you think that they can bounce back and get a result against City? You know, I mean, if you are Eric Ten Hag, that's a game that you're looking at that you want to redeem yourself, and you want to redeem the faith the players have in you by getting a result at City.
I guess my question is, though, he has some injuries now from some people that he thought, or the team thought, they were going to be saving graces.
Who, United?
Yeah. Isn't he injured?
Oh, Højlund's injured, yeah.
So I guess my question is, that's great. You go into that thinking, I'm going to redeem myself. But the real question is, how are you going to redeem yourself? Who do you have that you're like, they're going to do it for us?
Well, I mean,
that's the question.
The problem is like, they only have a handful of injuries. They only have Højlund, Martial, who isn't part of the squad at all anymore.
No.
Lisandro Martinez, Mason Mount, and Malacia.
Okay, but those are key players. And who are their respected, like, subs?
Luke Shaw, right?
Luke Shaw, how old's Luke Shaw at this point?
I think he's 30.
He shows his age a little. Like, I like Luke Shaw. But
that goes back to when Mourinho was in charge over there, and I think he wanted to get rid of Luke Shaw because he saw something that. But I think Luke Shaw might be injured. So, the team that they played in defense, I mean, they have Rafael Varane, who
wasn't he injured,
arguably
or did he just come back?
No, he's been back for quite a.
Are you sure?
Time. Yeah.
I feel like I just saw him like recently in one game.
No, he played against Fulham. And I think he played against Luton.
That's tragic. Okay.
Yeah, he played against Luton.
Okay, so tell me more.
Well, you look at the lineup, right back, Diego Dallo, center back
Mm,
Varane, center back the other center back position Harry Maguire, and then at left back they're playing Victor Lindelof.
mm.
And so I'm looking at a team like Arsenal who's playing four center backs across the back four, and it's one of those questions where it's like, well, why can't Man United do it with these players? I mean, they have these Rafael Varane. He's
Yeah, he's great.
how many Champions Leagues has that
Yeah.
guy won? How many La Ligas has he won? I mean, how many single individual awards does that man have as well?
But it's not just one person on defense.
Well,
Can they even score goals? Can they even score goals?
I mean, with Fernandez, Rashford, Garnacho, you would expect them to score against Fulham.
Everyone knows it's not Rashford's season. Whatever's wrong with him, whatever he's just not scoring like he was. Or I think everyone thought he was. Garnacho, I don't know. I don't know what makes him great. Maybe his name, his hair. I don't know. I don't really see
No,
it.
Garnacho, I can see it. I can see it. He's going to be a talent.
Fine,
Real
but
talent.
but they're right now. There's like it's like they're all stagnant. There's like no room for any of them to grow. And I said this a few weeks ago. I can't speak to management. We can't speak to management. We don't know anything. But you know what? Maybe we can now because we're talking about these names. We talk about these legends. We talk about the potential. And why is it just stuck? Because maybe management at this point. And I'm not trying to blame one person, but I'm just saying if you have these people, you have the talent, where's the performance?
Yeah, I mean, this is also the same man who ran
Cristiano Ronaldo out of here.
the biggest name
And
in
no one
sports,
talks about that enough. And it for me, I never really liked Ten Hag. And Ronaldo's not like, oh my God, like I'm obsessed with him. But he is a legend. He was a legend.
It was a mistake.
United was legendary for him and vice versa. And then he ran him out of here.
Yeah, it was a mistake. And they're paying for it real dearly.
But
now.
I just don't understand why the owners weren't like, this is kind of a red flag.
Well, I think from speaking with some of the Man United guys who support that team, I don't think the ownership really cares.
That's
if they
tragic.
win or lose. I think they just care for a payday.
That's so
They
tragic.
just use that club.
Considering, thinking
as a
about
piggy bank.
this, thinking about United and the presence of Manchester United in the United States, it's arguably the biggest team. Like, people know who Manchester United are.
Yeah, any day of the week, go down the street.
Someone would know
Manchester
United.
United.
Or even you just talk to the random person. Oh, do you follow the Prem? Oh, no, but I know who Manchester United are.
Right.
Like, come on. And you're just tarnishing it. They're going to be fallen.
Oh, they have fallen.
I mean, come on. I know,
for
but
quite some time. Them and Arsenal, both of them have fallen.
well,
the
I
last
just saw a
decade,
stat
but-
that Arsenal's sales have exponentially gone up in gear, everything.
Yeah, I mean that's what happens. I mean, think about it, the kids, right? Think about growing up.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, Arsenal was the best team in the Premier League.
Yeah.
I would buy an Arsenal jersey in a heartbeat because they are the best.
Yeah, but and then there years after it was United again.
Well, yeah.
And then there was that revival and
now it's City. Kids are growing up
Yeah.
and thinking City is the best team. Well,
Yeah.
they are the best team in the Premier League, but
Yeah.
think about it. Liverpool and City have been dominating for the last couple of years. I wouldn't say Liverpool dominating, but I would say
Liverpool has
City.
a weird fan base here. It's weird. Every Liverpool fan I met in the US, I'm like, you're a little off.
Yeah.
You're a touch off, especially when they have, and I'm
Deluded.
speaking to one person that I met when I was a nurse, and he had a tattoo. And I was like, oh.
Probably never went to Liverpool in his life.
He's like, never walk alone. And I was like,
Right.
you need to walk alone. There's something wrong with you. And then, we found some weird stuff out about him. He didn't
No,
work
it's
at the
fine,
hospital
but,
anymore. Anyway.
Anyways, I mean,
But
can
yeah.
United get a result against City? Can they bounce back from this horrible defeat? I mean, the scoreline wasn't even justified. Fulham should have won that game easily 4-0.
How many shots did they have? What's the stats?
I think they had 17 shots. They had 5
No.
shots on target. They had a lot of. If you watch the game, it was just so underwhelming of a.
To be
performance
totally
from United.
honest, I didn't even bat an eye at that game until I saw the score because I had assumed where's United right now on the table? They're
Sixth.
sixth.
Yeah.
And I didn't even have them in my top 6. West Ham fell for me. But anyway,
I think I had them in my top.
you
6.
did. But anyway, United being 6th, United holding enough strength to Fulham, where I think last year, weren't they kind of in relegation zone? Last year, they were kind of teetering it a little bit, unless I'm thinking wrong. But anyway,
I think last year they were
a bit
around
lower on the table.
Yeah, they were. I think you're right, but
still, I didn't even bat an eye. And then I saw the score, and I'm like, my first thought is honestly, it's
last year
management.
Fulham finished in 10th. So I mean, that's
that's pretty decent. That's decent
for Fulham. And right now, Fulham are only 3 points off of Chelsea, who are in 11th.
Oh, okay, so decent. But I don't know. I just had in my head I had a higher caliber of United than Fulham.
Yeah,
and I guess I was completely wrong.
Especially with United. I mean, who did they start? They started some kid on the right wing yesterday against Fulham. And it's like you're questioning, why is this kid, number 62, Omari Forson,
How old is he?
19 years old,
Wow.
playing instead of 90 million pound Anthony from Brazil?
Oh, you know who I forgot about it.
Yeah, I think everybody forgot about him, but I don't think people should forget that he cost almost 100 million pounds.
Everyone's sick of his little carousel.
He has played
move.
20 games in the Premier League this season and has scored.
God.
Well, he hasn't played, but he has featured in 20 matches and has scored 0 goals, 0 assists. Gabriel Magalhaes, center back, has scored 5 Premier League goals this season. I mean, what has gone wrong with that signing? I mean, I think it's the price tag. The price tag got it.
I think one day we need to kind of delve a little bit more into the price tag of players, because a lot of these numbers seem super inflated, almost to the point where I'm like, I know there's that one player that there's that conspiracy that he's just a laundering maneuver. Yeah, I think some of these players, there's a touch of that in their price as well, because it just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I mean, if you look at Zinedine Zidane, right?
Mm-hmm.
Zinedine Zidane back in 2001 transferred from Juventus to Real Madrid for close to 70 million euros.
Okay.
2001, we're talking about, 23 years ago.
That's a lot of money today.
That's a lot of money.
That would be
today,
a lot.
That's 160 million today.
Wow.
Right. Wow. Right.
So where is where is this
so-
hyperinflation of some of these players coming from?
So these players have been getting sold for quite a lot of money since the early 2000s, and I think.
But what I mean is, how are these numbers created? How are they assessed?
Well, a club like Ajax, who Ten Hag used to manage, valued Anthony at a certain price. He had a contract for a certain amount of years.
Oh.
And Man United, if you really want him, you have to buy him out.
You have
to pay up, because it's going to take a lot of resources for Ajax to go in and replace him, when in reality Ajax probably has a handful of Anthony's on the bench or in their academy ready to start and play. But
speaking of, can't we just call it Ajax?
No.
Can't we just call it Ajax?
No, that's criminal.
I get it, but like, in my mind,
straight to jail.
In my mind, I just see Ajax. Ajax.
So, can United get a result at City?
I'm optimistic. I told you, I'm a United fan this week. I'm a Ten Hag fan this week, because I need City to drop a point or just get 1 point.
Yeah.
So
I think if I'm Eric Ten Hag, if I'm any of the United players,
I don't know what they're thinking.
I'm looking. If I want to make myself known, if I want to keep the legacy of United going, I'm doing everything I can to get a victory at Man City. I don't care if that gives Liverpool the edge or Arsenal the edge. I'm Man United. I want to beat City. I want to beat them.
That's great. You could say that, and you can kind of will it to happen. How are they gonna make that happen? Look at the lineup.
I think Højlund might be back. I
That
think
would be
Hoyland might be
nice.
back.
I
That
think
would
it'll give him
probably
some
give him an
confidence
edge.
for sure. I think, to be honest, it's crazy to say, but I think he's the most consistent player they have right now. He's the one who shows up and he
It
has
is
grit.
crazy to say because I think he only has 7 goals.
But
in
that's
20
but
games.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying because he wants to play. Like you see this kid,
Yeah, there's no goals
he
coming in
wants
from
to
anywhere
play.
else. Yeah. No, you're
Um,
right. Every time you see him play, he's
he's
putting in a
giving it
shift.
all. He's giving it all. So I kind of feel bad for saying mean things about him earlier on. But listen, he's young. He's super young. He's got a lot of time ahead of him. But you could tell right now he's like hungry for it. So it would be nice to have him back because I feel like it would be good for not only him for experience, but just to kind of get in there and really make himself legendary in a sense. Because that's the game where he could become this. Oh, did you see him play against City? Did you see what he did against Holland? Did you see what he did, against that defense? So it would be nice if he were back. But I just don't know. I don't know because Foden has been crazy this leg.
Yeah,
Holland's been stable. De Bruyne is back and fit. So it's crazy. It's gonna be a good game in the sense that you're rooting for the underdog if you're any other fan than a City fan.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, growing up with the caliber of Manchester United players in the early 2000s, you had.
I mean, it's legendary. United's
you had
legendary.
Scholes, you had Giggs, you had Ronaldo, you had Tevez, you had Rooney, you had Vidic, you had Ferdinand, you had all these crazy legends playing for that club, and now you're saying they're
We'll
an
see.
underdog
Yeah.
to City. I mean, how wild is
But
that
it's
to
true.
think? No, I know it's true, but like think of how wild City were nobodies when these players were playing for United. In the early 2000s.
Yeah.
City weren't even in the discussion. They were
Yeah.
just. I think they were even in Premier League in like the early 2000s.
Oh, really?
But to now, two
Being
decades
like,
later,
I don't know what's gonna happen.
2 decades later, to say that United are underdogs to City, it's just funny.
But I think that also goes to show. I think this is one thing that I think is leading us to our next topic is the fact that relegation happens. I think it's the only sport that us as living in America, Americans, we see happen, right? No other league here or sport that we watch, not that we watch any other sport, but that we know of, has this thing.
Promotion and relegation.
And I think it's absolutely crazy, like we were talking about earlier.
So that's a good point.
Yeah.
Can you explain what the promotion and relegation system is for the Premier League?
No, I can't explain it. I just know that it's like bottom 3 gotta go. Bottom 3 gotta go.
Well, essentially, yeah. So build up. On
Okay,
that.
so what I know as a make-believe pundit is that it's top 20. It's a point system. Bottom 3 go, and then from the championship, right, which is the second league,
Second division.
division, the top 3 then switch, and they're promoted up.
Right.
And who's in the championship right now that are top? Is it Leeds, Leicester?
Yeah. So Premier League, like you said, has 20 teams.
Yeah.
That's the first level, the highest level
Sorry,
of the
I just wanted to know.
pyramid of the whole system. And it's nice to look at the promotion and relegation system in football as a pyramid. Because at the top you have
soccer. Anyway, go ahead.
So you look at it as a pyramid where you have one division at the top of the pyramid, which is the Premier League.
Correct.
And then you keep going down to different levels of the pyramid.
To how many divisions are there?
Oh, I think there's a lot. I think there's
UK?
at least 8. I think there's 8 divisions, top flight divisions in
Which I think what is really cool about not to plug anything, but what I think was really cool about watching that show, Wrexham, is seeing how many divisions there are and seeing how difficult it is to make. For us watching the Premier League, it's a little bit easier because they're all top teams. Even the top teams in the Championship, the second division, are pretty good teams that like the switch isn't as crazy to see. But the way to promotion is such a long haul. And I think that's why that show is pretty cool to see because these lower division teams, like we can't watch that here.
With the Wrexham, it was even more difficult for them to get into where they are today because they were playing non-league. They weren't even in
Oh,
the
right.
pyramid.
Right. But that's what I'm saying is that, like, us here in the U.S., we can't appreciate any of that because we can't watch these, first of all, non-league games. We can't watch these lower league games at all. There's no way for us to even know about them much.
And
so,
if you want to see Wrexham back into the Premier League, I mean, that's an investment that's going to take at least a minimum of a decade.
That's
if you
crazy.
think, because every year you'd have to win promotion.
Yeah.
So if you win promotion for 10 straight years, you're in the Premier League.
That's crazy.
But think about it. That's impossible. You're not going to do that. You're going to have hiccups.
I mean, you're absolutely going to have hiccups, but then we were talking about, like, if you look at history, speaking back to, like, Premier League and everything, how some of these big name teams are not even in the Premier League anymore. Like who? Like Sunderland, Blackpool, Stoke had some crazy legends playing for them. They're not even in Premier League anymore. And it's just, I think it's a crazy sport to think that you have these crazy legendary teams who are not even in the top tier right now.
Yeah. It's like, imagine having the New York Giants go to a second division.
Not even Patriots. Like, you just don't hear from them for like 10 years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's like, what? You're like, oh, crap, you're right. It's really weird. I think it's the only thing that I really like about the promotion kind of relegation stage is the fact that it keeps it so competitive.
Oh, yeah.
Because even the bottom three are like, we don't want to get relegated. We keep vying. So, like, every game actually means something rather than like, oh, yeah, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot at stake.
Every year.
Outside of just being in the Premier League.
Yeah.
When you get relegated, you obviously lose a lot of money.
Yeah.
But you also potentially lose your star players, right?
For sure.
So I know a couple of these new contracts players are signing, they have relegation clauses. So if the club goes down, they're able to get out of that contract for a huge discount, essentially, and leave the club or go out on loan or something. But yeah, so going based off of that, the championship has 24 teams instead of 20.
Mm-hmm.
First two places automatically get promoted into the Premier League. And then
that's right.
the next four places, so third, fourth, fifth, and sixth, compete in a playoff system where the winner gets the third spot of that.
And they get promoted.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot there was that little twist there.
Right. And so the championship, that little small element of having a mini playoff
within
the
playoff division
to get promoted, that is something that is really exciting, especially if you're a fan of one of these teams. Because like right now, Leicester are dominating that league.
Makes sense. Who
Leicester
else is there?
and Leeds, both of them got relegated last season, and I don't think they lost many of their players. So I mean, they're at the top with 78 and 72 points, and then third place Ipswich Town. You probably never heard of them.
I've heard of Ipswich.
Oh,
Stumpeg. Thank you very much.
Southampton, West Brom, and Hull are currently in third to sixth. So it'd be really interesting. Norwich is also on Hull City's tail with Preston and Coventry. And
is
not far along.
their league season just as long as the Premier? Okay,
it's the same. Yeah.
Okay,
so you'll know who gets promoted
or at the same time.
At the same time,
that makes
who
sense.
gets relegated.
Yeah.
But based off of that, so we can see right now in the Premier League, in the current Premier League.
So let's talk about the Prem again, because
we have Luton, Burnley, and Sheffield in the bottom three relegation spots. Sheffield United and Burnley, I think it's safe to say that
absolutely, I agree
they're
with you.
They're going to get relegated.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Both of them have the same form. Both of them have 3 wins, 4 draws, and 19 losses, accumulating to 13 points. 18th, the last relegation spot, is going to be really interesting because it's currently Luton.
Mm-hmm. And then right above them is who? Everton,
Nottingham Forest, and Brentford are not too far away from them.
Oh, interesting, Brentford. Okay.
So Luton have 20 points after 25 games played, so they have a game in hand on Everton. So if they win their next game, which is against Man City,
I will certainly be a Luton fan that day. You know me.
Oh, actually, no, I'm sorry. That's the FA Cup 5th round. They play
Oh,
against
okay.
Man City on
Still,
Tuesday.
we'll still be there.
But if Luton win their next game at Aston Villa, which they play at home, they go outside of the relegation zone into 17th with 23 points, one off Nottingham Forest.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be a really tricky one because I can see Brentford, Nottingham Forest, Everton, or Luton. I can see any one of those four.
Brentford as well. You're there.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. I can see Brentford,
But I'm
Nottingham,
saying you
Everton,
see them
or
dropping.
Luton. I can
You
see
see them
any
dropping.
one of those four.
That's interesting. I'm shocked.
Brentford only have 2 more wins than Luton.
I don't know. I don't know why. For some reason, I feel like they're a bit stronger
Well,
than some other teams. But maybe because Ivan Toney's back.
but the table doesn't lie. And
Yeah.
having 2 more wins than a Luton is quite telling.
I mean, to be quite honest, you know where I stand. I don't want Luton Town to be relegated. I have a soft spot in my heart for them because they are the underdog. Everyone talks about them as the underdog. So I love the underdog. I think Luton can stay in the Premiership. I think they can. But can I bet anyone that's going to go down? No, because Everton's down there. We know why Everton's really down there. They lost points. They got points deducted.
Yeah.
So it's not really necessarily to them playing, but it's like, can they win enough games to kind of beef themselves up to avoid that? I don't know. Because that's a lot of points lost. So that I'm not sure about. I think Luton Town are actually fairly strong, so let me not say that. And then, I don't know. I don't watch Forest enough to say they're gonna be strong enough to stay or they're weak enough to lose. But I think the bottom two are pretty set in stone. I think you're absolutely right. Sheffield don't have that one player, or they really don't have a front line at all to kind of give them any edge. I feel bad saying it because you work so hard. You work so hard to work your way up. And then, you're the underdog. Everyone knows it. And it's like, no one's nice. And it's like...
So who do you think is going to finish in that 18th spot? Who do you want to finish versus who do you think is going to finish?
I don't really want Everton. I don't want Everton to be relegated because of a point deduction. I think that's so terrible to go down. So I don't want it to be Everton. From the heart, I don't want it to be Luton Town either. But I guess I could see Nottingham Forest do it, but I don't know. I'm not strong enough between those teams to say that it's going to be them for sure.
Yeah.
What about you? How do you feel?
I think Sheffield and Burnley, they're going down. I think Luton. I think Luton are also going to go down. Unfortunately, I think who was promoted last season? It was Burnley, Luton, and Sheffield. So I think they're just
It's going to go back down.
They're just going to all 3 of them.
Damn.
You look at the quality of those 3 teams.
I'm sorry. I think the quality of Luton Town is much better than Sheffield and Burnley.
Right.
To be honest, which is a lot because I honestly don't know how it was for them to get up, how to get promoted. I didn't follow, like I said, I don't follow the second league, the second division enough to say like, oh yeah, it's because of this, and this. So if Luton Town, you tell me Luton Town got the 3rd place because of the playoff, I'd be like, that's crazy because I feel like that they are a little bit better. They are a little bit better than Sheffield this season. They're a little bit better than Burnley this season. I think
especially at home.
They've held teams. They've kept teams on their toes. Everyone thought
Liverpool
this was an easy win.
No, yeah, I agree, but unfortunately, I think Sean Dyche with Everton, I think it's always going to be scrappy with them. So I think they're gonna be.
And my arch nemesis.
They're gonna
Pickford. I don't know why.
So I think Everton. They're just by I would say a point.
Damn.
I would say a point they survive.
Okay.
But then again,
which is fine because I really don't think that I'm all like, it's not fair. It's not fair. Everton is not the only team that have done this.
Well, I mean, listen, if you did something wrong,
no,
you should get punished.
You should get punished, but then every team should get punished for this.
Chelsea,
how does Chelsea
City,
not have any of this going on?
Etc. Yeah.
How in City we know they have these, but there's nothing going on. So if all three teams had dropped points, they'd be like, Everton suck. Like, that sucks for you. You all dropped points, but at least they had enough wins to keep them in.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean,
So-
there's a lot of sponsorship money in back rooms under the table getting
Crazy.
exchanged. I mean, think about if Man City were to get relegated, you think
Yeah.
Guardiola or any of those players are going to stay? You know,
No, they can't. They can't
they're
stay
gonna
there.
they're gonna extend and push as long as they can until most of these players' contracts.
But the thing
and coaches
is
are
that
out.
is City even if City were to drop that many points, like how many points are we talking? Would they get deducted? It wouldn't be just 10.
From one of the opinions I read from a lawyer who has looked at the Everton case, and I think they only had 13 charges against them, and they got 10-point reduction.
Oh my god, no, they can't do
I
that.
think Man
It's too
City
much money
has
lost.
almost like
You're right.
200. I think they get demoted two divisions from what he said, so they go into the third division.
Okay, then that's it. Is that I'm sorry, Everton doesn't have the fan base right now. Like
No, Everton has a fan base.
they don't have the
Everton a
money
strong-
coming in or being shelled out.
No, that's wrong. Everton have a very
Okay,
rich
so then
owner.
what's keeping City from losing their points? All their players, all the money. Like that's what I'm saying. Is like
A
that
higher
amount of money.
profile. Yeah,
Okay, fine. Higher profile, but that comes like with more money.
Yeah, but also if you look into the Everton stuff, I mean, the owner and all that stuff, I mean, that's a whole podcast in itself. Because
fine.
from what my understanding, he cheaped out on the lawyer, and if he took better counsel, he probably would have won that case, and they wouldn't have the 10. But whatever.
Okay,
that's
fine. Okay,
that's
fine.
a different subject. So I'm saying Sheffield, Burnley, and Luton. They
Do I
all
really
go
have to
down.
pick an 18th?
Yeah. Luton, Everton, Forest, Brentford.
How many games are left? Luton has a game in hand.
I think there's 12 games left. Forest.
On
I
the
mean,
sheer
listen,
fact.
Luton are 1 win away from being 1 point off of Forest. So I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
So I'm picking Forest because I do think Luton has it in them to stay in the Premier League. Mish and the dog agrees.
All right.
I'm excited. It's going to be a few weeks of drama coming up. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, it's going to be a great 2 months of footy.
And
Champions
Arsenal,
League.
Champions League. I don't really want to talk about it. This week wasn't my favorite week in Champions League. It's okay. We'll figure it out. But what did you say right before we started the pod? Arsenal and City are the two.
What was that?
He's upset about the Champions League outcome this week as well. Arsenal and City are the two teams left from the Prem who are in the Champions League right now, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we're in the round of 16.
Can we beat them by two goals? I think so.
Oh, for sure.
For
Especially
sure.
seeing us destroy Newcastle.
But we were destroyed this
No,
week.
I
We
don't
had no
think-
shots on goal. There was no attempts. None. Look at the stats. I saw them and I was going to cry.
Yeah, you're right. There's no
There
shots
was
on
no
target.
shots on. Like,
0.
so,
We had 60. Arsenal had 65% possession.
that's the biggest thing that gets me. How do you have majority possession? And this happens to Arsenal often. You have majority possession and you can't just finish the product.
No, I mean, watching that game, watching all the highlights, I think it was pretty evident that Porto played the cerebral game against Arsenal, meaning that they did the tactical fouls. They slowed the game down even slower than what Arsenal usually do.
Yeah, but I don't think Arsenal are, like, if they slow it down maybe technically
Yeah, but Porto weren't allowing Arsenal to play the way they wanted
any
to play.
game.
Every time there was a 50-50 challenge, Porto player would just fall down and flop. And I
Okay,
think
this
in
is
the
going to sound stupid.
first-
Where's Porto from?
Portugal.
Oh, it is Portugal.
Yeah.
Okay, that's different. I'm surprised that they play that way.
I'm not. They
No?
have Pepe in their
Oh.
starting 11.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, they have that monster playing still.
How old is he?
I think he's like 38.
He's
39.
always
Oh,
looked like he's
40 years
44.
old. He's
He
40.
always looked like he's 44, let's be honest.
He's 40 years old. You got to give him credit.
Oh,
Man is
I
playing still in the
absolutely give him
Champions League.
credit, but he's always looked like he's 44.
But I think they're gonna get destroyed at the Emirates.
Good. I'm happy about that. So that happens when? Now that it's like round of 16 and they play again. So what happens next? When does that game happen?
That game is in March.
So like in
second week of March.
2 weeks almost.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Yeah. That's exciting. I think
Yeah.
we're gonna go far in Champions League
And then there's FA Cup games for some of these teams.
teams.
Arsenal are out.
I was gonna say, why are you even talking about that? I don't want to talk about it.
Well, FA Cup, I love watching FA Cup because it's always like one of those competitions where you see a lesser team from like third division, second division come up against like
Didn't like
Chelsea or
Wrexham? Didn't they
Liverpool.
play for the FA?
Yeah, last season, yeah, they went far in the FA Cup.
Yeah. So that's it's cool. You're right. It's
Yeah,
cool.
so it's always fun watching like some of these lower league teams play against like a Premier League team, and
Mhm.
and you never know. Sometimes they may win, sometimes they may not, but it's
Cool.
always a fun game.
It's cool. So that's it. It's been a good week for me. It's been a good few weeks for me. You could tell my skin's glowing when Arsenal wins. He's happy too.
All right, that's a wrap.
All right. Thanks, guys.